one of those phrases that you really only have become accustomed to in the last few years, a bit like cyberbullying. I'm not saying anything, but, cyberbullying is something that's been discussed on the programme within the last few days, actually. And it's kind of an insidious way of getting at people. It seems to be affecting youngsters quite a lot, according to Childline figures. This chap you're going to meet now from Sutton and Ashfield, Matthew Elliott, has done something which could well change the lives of people worried about or suffering from cyberbullying. Matthew, you've made a film, that's right, isn't it?
That's correct, yes.
How come you made a film? What's the story leading up to actually sort of committing a story to celluloid?
Basically what happened was we've been looking into the effects of bullying for the last few years, and what I'd originally wanted to do was to go into teaching, and basically in kind of doing all of that and learning to teach, I'd kind of gone into, social issues, social problems, and so basically I'd always thought to myself I'd want to make a movie about something we felt quite strongly about, and bullying seemed the best thing to do it about because it's such a common issue.
Right. Was it something that you felt you suffered from as a teenager?
I think honestly everybody's suffered it at one point, because bullying comes in all different forms. I would say, that when I was younger I would have been bullied at some point. Right.
So you wrote this story.
That's correct.
And you took the main role in it.
Yes, as Jake Foster.
And then you had your colleague Glenn as the director. Glenn, hello.
Hello.
So how did you go about telling the story? As a director, you've got to get this as into a thing that people will want to watch.
We're kind of we didn't necessarily have a script as such, but Matthew kind of planned the short film actually in his head. So I've made a few short films previously. We tried to tell the story as honestly as possible in a very realistic way, using actually voiceover for the character Jake. So it's not necessarily loads of dialogue in the film. It's actually more like his voiceover is actually stating how he feels.
And you shot a lot of it around the Kingsmill Reservoir. What attracted you to that?
It's just there's a place in there. It's kind of called we call it the Lonely Lane, and it was just a kind of quite peaceful countryside kind of like walk, and it was actually perfect for the character Jake's contemplating what he might do in the future and how he actually feels.
Right. And so there we are. We've got images from around Kingsmill Reservoir and from Kirkby and Ashfield, and the film In Hindsight is now being shown in schools in America. Matthew, how did that come about?
The actual foundation that we've been working with, that we made the film for, the Megan Mayer Foundation, originally what had happened was, when I decided to start, coming up with the idea of making this film, I got in touch with as many charities as possible. And one of the ones to get back in touch was the Megan Mayer Foundation from Missouri in the US. There'd been a film brought out previously based on Megan Mayer herself called Cyberbully a few years ago. And it was watching that film that kind of gave me the contact for them. And I got in touch with them, and they basically said, yeah, if you want to make a film, then we would support you. And that kind of gave us the drive, really, to kind of go for it.
Right. Amazing that this message has spread right across the Atlantic into schools in America. And people can see it on YouTube as well.
That's correct.
If they want to look at it. So it's called In Hindsight.
In Hindsight.
Are you going to be working together doing more films in the future, Glenn?
Yes. We've got... I'm doing a kind of a comedy horror film, and then hopefully we're starting in the next couple of weeks, which is called the Trembling Terror in High Gear. And Matthew's got a few other projects, and we recently completed one called Intermission, which is kind of it's kind of a trilogy that Matthew's working on, which is kind of connected with In Hindsight, and that's slightly more serious again, where mine's a bit more comical.
Wow. Well, it's great to meet film talent from Nottinghamshire, and good luck with future endeavours. And as I say, it's a life changer In Hindsight, so well done on that. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Glenn and Matthew there on BBC Radio Nottingham. It's 14 minutes to 6, and an update on the news headlines for you now.